Hello everyone, welcome back to our next tutorial of full stack web development. In previous tutorial you have seen that we discussed about JavaScript objects and we learned two important concepts that the variable assigned to objects don't hold actual values, rather they hold some references, and while comparing the string objects we don't really compare the values but we compare their references, and we discuss the function value of function in which you can compare the values of some objects. We discussed few methods and few properties of arrays and strings, and then we discussed these two problems, or rather I have given you as a homework, so I can give you as a hint that how you can solve these. So one of them is find the multiple occurrences of a substring in a string along with the index position. So how you can do that? So first thing here is what you can do, you can apply a loop, a for loop, and then you can keep on finding a string and then use a position maybe starting from the 0 in the beginning, and then you can get one index for that. After that you can start searching index of string, and whatever value you have got here you can increase 1 to that, and again save it to I, and keep executing this in loop, right? When you get I equal to -1, that means now there is no value or there is no substring that can be found now. But before that you can keep counting the values, and in that way you can keep the track of substrings. Secondly, find out the file name from URL in your browser. So first problem here is you need to find out what URL is. So for that you can use this object window dot location dot href. So this will give you your URL. After that you can use split function as I have told you, using space, and then find out either last or second last value. Also you can use some other methods. So this was the tutorial of last lecture. Now what we are going to discuss, we are going to cover arrays in little bit more detail here. Arrays can store multiple values. This you have already studied in some other programming languages also. So as you have seen, we have discussed and created array in these ways, like this way. So you can use any one of these method, but the first one is preferable method. You should use this method because this can produce unexpected results sometimes. For example, in this case it will be good, there is no problem in that. But let us take one more example where a2 and assign 5 here. Similarly try to create another variable using object method. So as per our expectation, this should create an array with one value, that is 5. So it fulfills our wish, but it doesn't, because it create 5 undefined values. So there is some unexpected result here. I can show you how it works. you can see this is working fine. Now I need to create another one, and here you can see. You can also check the length using length property. You can see length of A3 is 5, but length of A2 is 1. So here is some unexpected result. So we have seen that the first method, this is called literal method, and the second one is object one. You can also denote it using numbers. So this is one and second. So I will say first is preferable. So there are some other reasons also. So one of them is the simplicity, readability, and execution speed of the first method. It's better from the second method. So that's why I would like to use the first one. Now come to another concept. Arrays are also some kind of object, and you can use a method type of to check it. So let's go back, see here, type of, and try to check A2, or maybe you can try to check A3. Both will be object. So when these two are objects, is there any difference between the objects and arrays? Because in JavaScript objects or JavaScript arrays are simply called arrays, and they have indexing as their numbers. Whereas when we talk about objects, the index are not numbers but names. So here you can see, when we are talking about arrays, array could be like this, and when we are going to access this, we'll use indexing like this, a10, a11, and so on. But in case of objects, we don't use these numbers, we use some names. So one of the object could be like this, o, and then name, and then provide some name, like I would like to provide my name here. So whenever you are going to access this member, you are using you're going to use like this. So let us try this one. So let us access, I'm sorry, it's a1. So you can see we're able to access it like that. Now create an object where o, but we need to use curly braces here. Now how you can access this? You can't use 0 because this will give you undefined value, so you need to use some names here, and now you can access this. Try to check type of object. This is also giving us object. So how it is different from array, and how you can find out that array is really an array and not an object? So there should be some way, right? So there are two methods you can use. So the first one is use a method of array dot is array, and then pass array inside here. Second, you can write a, this is name of array, instance of array, and using these two methods you can check if an array is array or object. So let us try it. Array is array, and let's test it for a1. You can see it's an array. Similarly, try to find it for O and it's false. Now come to another one, A1 instance of array, it is true. Now try to check it for O and you can see it's false. So in this way you can check whether a object is really an array or object, right? So now let us try to understand some methods. So as you have seen previously that we have used push method, pop method, and also along with methods we'll also discuss some properties. So these are methods, and a property that you have already discussed in previous tutorial, that was length. So there are some more methods here. One is sort, this sorts the array. One is reverse, this reverse sort the array. One method is for each, it acts like as a for loop, but I will show you how it works. Then there are some method concat, these are used to concatenate two arrays. Then there is method join, it joins all the elements of an array and converts it to its string. Then there is slice method, it takes a slice out of array and stores it or either returns it. So let us try to execute these methods. So let us first define a1 1 2 3. Similarly create another array a2. So now I have to concatenate these first, or maybe what you can do, a1 dot push, and you can push one element, maybe 10. Now you can check that a1 has value 1 2 3 and 10. Now you need to pop it. Now again a1 has 3. So you already know this, right? So now use this property to check the length of an array, and we are done. Now again a1 a2 we have the values. Now try to concatenate, concat a2 and assign it to another array a3, and you can see new value in a3 is this, right? You can also use join method as you have discussed, a1 dot join, and this will become a string. You can use var st, and then you need to use something inside here. Maybe you want to join these elements using comma or maybe colon, whatever your wish, right? So let's use comma and see the value of the string. You can see, right? Then again here is an array a1 and it's already sorted, so let us try to reverse sort it and see the effect. You can see it here. So what we can do, we can sort the array after it. Let's see. Now you can see it's sorted again. See if it's reflected in previous variable or not. Yes, it's reflected. So we have discussed all these methods. Now come to another method of slicing the elements, or maybe take slice of a3. So what slice you want to take, a3 dot slice. There are two arguments to it. One is start, so from which index you want to start. So let us suppose I want 2 3 4, so I will start with 1. And if you don't provide another argument, the second argument, that's optional. Even first one is optional. If you don't provide any argument, it will give us complete array. But if one of the argument you are omitting, Let us suppose I want to give 1 here. So in case of second, it will give whole array, right? But if you want to provide second argument, so where do you want to end? I want till 4. So this was index 0, this 1, 2, 3. So if you want to end at 3, you need to provide 4 here. So you need to provide one more index at, at the place where you want to end, right? Now let us understand the forage method. So how it works? It works like this. Array dot for each function name. We provide some function here, then define a function, take some value here and do whatever you want to with that value, but I am just printing that value, and that's it. So what this loop is going to do, this will execute on whole array at once. So let us try to execute this one. Function name, take a value, try to print whatever value we get. So we get v. I will try to separate different values by comma. So here is a function. Now I have array a3, you can see it here. So what I am going to do now is a3 dot for each, and now I am going to pass function name here. So what is function name? It is function name, and it will print all the values at once. You can see it here, and all the values are separated by commas. So you can change this function. Let us suppose you want just value and not a comma, so you need to execute it again, and you can see, right? So this was the method related to array. Now come to string part. We have discussed a lot about strings in previous lectures also, but I need to discuss two methods. One is substring and another is substr. These two methods take two arguments. In case of substring, the first argument is starting position. In case of substr, the first argument is starting position. But when we are talking about substring, this b1 shows the end position plus 1, and here in case of substr it shows the length, and these two methods are used to find out substring out of a string, right? So let us try to run this also. So I have a string, let's make it JavaScript. So what I have to do, st dot substr or substring. So first argument is 0, that means we are starting from 0, and another argument is whatever you want. So what I want, 0, 1, 2, 3, I want Java out of it, so I will provide the index of s, which is 4. So you can see how we have extracted the Java out of it. Similarly, use the substr method, and what we have to do till here, we need to provide the first argument and the length of the string that we want to extract out of it. So we want to extract Java, so we need to provide 4. But here in this case, it doesn't seem that we are getting different results, so it might not be very much clear to you. So let us give me another example. So now let us change the first argument 0, 1, 2, 3, and this is 4. So let us start with 4. So I will get a script, and if I don't provide any other argument, so it will give me whole string. Or you can also do st dot length minus 1. What it is going to do, this is this is going to uh, point at t, so this will provide me script, not t. If you want whole string, then make it length, right? So this length is actually index that I'm passing here. Now use substr. So the first argument is 4, of course, and then another argument is the length of script, and here you get it, right? Okay, so I think it is enough for this lecture. We have discussed a lot about arrays and strings, and you are well aware of these things now. So what you can do, you can solve multiple problems on these topics, and I'm going to come back in next lecture and we'll discuss more about JavaScript objects and JSON objects. If you have any problem, you have any doubt, please write in the comments or you can mail me. I will surely respond back. Thank you so much.